welcome to episode 7 of the Talking Footy vidcast. DeGoey De GONE. Is he out of there? So I've got my regular guests here. We've got Ben, we've got Chloe, we've got Amph. And Amph, by God, the sequel was not as good as the original. Week 2 of finals was absolute dog shit. But we are here now. And mates, I hear rumblings at your house. I hear things, the floor shaking. You are just absolutely fuming at these people. Let me know what's getting you mad.
The fucking AFL, I'm fucking mad. All right, firstly, we're going to play a video. I'm sure most of you would have seen it, but yeah, we'll play it for our viewers that are watching. Our 100 viewers for the last episode.
And off a step, he makes a pretty good fist of it. Did Floston touch the footy? I reckon they're going to have a look at it.
Just like, I believe it's behind.
I believe it's over the line.
I'm not sure Nick Floston has touched that ball.
I think the ball was touched by Boston.
It's over the line.
You believe it was touched by Boston over the line. Score review. Umpire's call is one behind. Please make sure it was touched before crossing the line.
Yes, Floston for me, Duck. He looked very guiltily around.
He didn't give us the indication that he touched it.
Yep.
There's nothing. It's daylight.
It's daylight.
Conclusive that he has.
There's actual daylight in there.
No,
Oh my God.
You're right, Daisy.
What
I think
is
that's
going on?
6 points.
Oh my God.
6 points. JB, 6 points.
That's a replay for
JB's
the to work their way through.
Boy, oh boy, wowie. The fucking score review arc. What are you doing? So, actually, I'll give one credit to the arc. Credit to the arc. They actually had good camera angles on this one.
Actually went in
You
close.
can actually see that the ball wasn't touched. So I'm not actually counting the arc here. I'm counting the person that was doing the review. I don't know who you are because it sounds like the same voice in every single game. So I don't know if it's the fucking generic voice or the person just does fucking 9 games a week and has no life on the weekend. I don't know. But, mate, are you fucking blind? The whole AFL, JB, whoever else was fucking commentating the game. I think it was Luke Darcy and Daisy Pearce. And I think Richo was chiming in. Richo's shit at commentating, but he was chiming in as well. They all said it was a goal. Everyone watching it at home says it was a goal. Nick Floston, even though he was a dick and tweeted that he said he touched it, he fucking knew it was a goal as well. He's just been a dickhead. This score, if you're going to not overturn goals like that, don't have the score review system, honestly, because it's just causing more controversy. You better off just not having it. Umpires fuck up. Goal umpires are going to fuck up. It's a part of our game. Makes me really fucking mad.
Very good, Russ.
Oh boy. It's an absolute shambles. And I think if you're the arc, you're finding a one-way ticket out of here if you're allowed to. Oh boy. That was not good.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating because, like the arc's always been up in the air, but you feel like the one piece of vision they've got, there's a bit of daylight, and the one bit of vision they need to get right for the whole year in a final, they can't. And it's beyond me. It's beyond
Very
me.
frustrating.
Yeah.
That was good though. Rated that. He's coming hot.
Yeah.
He's coming hot early.
Not happy at all. Not happy at all with the arc. Very, very mad.
Jan.
Very, very mad.
Nice.
Love that chime in from you, Jez. Absolute shit call. I think, every man and his dog could see that was a goal any day of the week. You could see everything you needed to know was in Lawson's reaction, which was the fact that he didn't fucking react after he supposedly touched the ball. He looks around for like 20 seconds and is like, oh, okay, hang on, touch. Like, no. Yeah. You're not fooling anyone, mate.
Yeah. It's Stevie Wonder could have seen that. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. We've had enough.
You're not wrong, mate. Yeah.
That's all right. Well, thanks for that, Russ. We had a busy weekend in games for second week of finals. We're going to kick off with Richmond and Kilda and review that game. So let's go to Chloe. Chloe, what are your thoughts on this, the Richmond and Kilda result?
Look, I think I can speak for most of us and just say it was a really disappointing game to watch, I suppose, because, I felt like St Kilda were okay in the way that they played. Like, they weren't completely terrible or anything. They just couldn't convert to save their lives. Looking at, I think it was like, they ended up with like 12 behinds or something ridiculous like
behinds,
that. Yeah, like it was just, it was just a real shame because, like I said last week, it would have been really great to see them go all the way. I think obviously their outs impacted them quite a lot. So no rider was what absolutely killed them. I think Nankervis absolutely demolished Marshall the whole night. To be honest, he just, so credit to him in that sense, I suppose. And Marshall just didn't have enough support to, kind of combat that nicely enough. So they were losing quite a bit around the centre clearances. And then anytime they fumbled, the Tigers were there putting pressure on him.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know. I'm not really convinced on the Tigers after that game. They didn't really play that well. They got the job done. Like, they did what they had to do, but like, they weren't really fantastic. Like, I think like if they play like that this coming weekend, I don't think they're going to win. Like they're going to have to step it up. Like, Dusty played well as always, and then Tom Lynch obviously came in. Tom Lynch was really, really good. As much as we hate him, as much as we all have our views on Tom Lynch, and as much as we hate him, he's just so important. He's so good. Like, honestly,
their forward line's just a million times
he
better.
makes them from not winning the flag this year to probably winning the flag. Like, honestly, he's just like, I know he kicked 2 goals, 5, and he still had easy goals, but he sets up a lot as well. Like, it's just amazing, I reckon. Like, the amount of work he does.
Love that.
Yeah. And on the 13 behinds, what was Chloe saying, like, St Kilda had one less scoring shot to Richmond. And that's exactly what Russ is saying. Richmond didn't play that well. They only had 20 scoring shots and St Kilda had 19. And St Kilda are pretty bad, I thought. So there was one comment made during the game, and Jonathan Brown really needs to look at himself. But the fact you're calling Dusty best on a half-time after Shai Bolton's kicked 3 goals up to quarter time.
And Hooley's taking the piss.
Like, I know Dusty's sucking off everyone in the AFL, but Shai Bolton kicked 3 goals in the first half, and you're saying, Dusty, you had 8 inside 50s. Fuck yeah, you can be best on ground then. Clueless. Stick to kicking. Stop commentating.
You know where he was?
You, Matthew Richardson, Cameron Link, fuck off. Frustrating as fuck. So bad.
It was at the library.
Coming for your jobs, boys.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So, Richmond didn't play that well, but they obviously deserve the win. But like Russ said, if they're going to win this coming week, they need to do something a lot better, I think. What are your thoughts, Jerry?
Yeah, well, I'm on the fence with Russ. Like, I think they've got the team to do it. It's just like, or just not proven in finals. Like, I just don't make port in finals unless they win this week. So if they win this week, then I actually think they're a good team. But it's like, up until now, like, you can finish first on the ladder. Like, they did that during Brisbane's years, and they didn't win the premiership. They won it when Brisbane literally were going for the 4-peat. And by then, they weren't, as good as they were in the previous 3 premierships. But I reckon, I've got the Tigers coming in as favourites. I do not like the Tigers. Can't stand them, but it's a good team. We don't like the Tigers,
and we don't like the Power, mate. So it's
I just hope both teams just self-combust and we just get no players in the game. So, you guys have hit the nail on the head. Lynch is their most important player, I reckon. Like, their forward line's so much better. You got Rewalt and all these guys who
Jerry, you froze, mate.
At the library in March. You got fucking I said he's been at the library since March. Old Jack Rewalt. And you've got
I want to chime in here about, just quickly, I'm going to buddy Jack Rewalt, right? I was thinking about it, and I was chatting to Big Nick about Jack Rewalt as well.
Tiger time.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we don't love a Tiger time at SCN. For those of you who don't go for Richmond, do not fucking watch SCN. 6 p.m. Is it 6 p.m. Monday night? Is it 6 p.m. Monday nights? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Monday nights. Tiger time with Jack Rewalt. Fuck off. We don't want to listen to you on prime time, mate. Go away. Anyway, going back to Jack Rewalt here. As much as he does annoy me, he's a bit of a sook. But he honestly does play his role. Like, I was even speaking to Dan about it. Like, the amount of stuff he does, he does a lot of blocking. He'll lead the other way so Tom Lynch can get the ball. He does his tap-ons. He does things like that. So I think as much as at another club he might not be worthy, but he does the definitely the little things that just count. And I think that's what makes Richmond a good side. Like, you go through their team, they don't have a shit ton of stars. Like, you probably could look at a team like Geelong even they might even have more stars, but all the Richmond players just always play their role, which is what makes them such a good team.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
I
really cool.
want to add one more thing about Jackie. It's exactly right. He contests the ball. He brings the ball to ground. He flies at everything which he wanted as forward. But he hasn't done anything since he sang Mr. Brightside with the Killers at the grand final.
He beat Ben.
Yes, but he plays a very key role for Richmond. But if his singing was as good as his footy, then they'd be a lot better team. So,
Hey, the Australian acts.
Oh dear, yeah. No, look, I get what you're saying, Beige, but I think I'm with Russ on this one. Like, you know, as much of a pain is as painful as it is to watch him at times. I think Russ was right. Like, you know, even if he's not doing much even if he's not having an impact on the game, he's still impacting it by at least, like, you know, leading a little bit so that he is like presenting or attempting to present a target within their forward 50, even if it is a fake one. So, you know, someone can lynch or another one can get.
Keep on going, Chloe. It's all right. Keep on going.
Okay.
No.
Can get behind him or whatever. So yeah, but it's a bit of a triple because, like I said, like, you know, Rewatt's not exactly my favorite player. And then on, if we can switch it back to Lynch for a second, what do we think about his on-field conduct? Because obviously in the game we saw him, you know, take a knee to the head. Give a knee to the head, I should say. And, you know, he only copped a fine, not a ban, which I don't think any of us are surprised by. But I think it was, I want to say, was it Richo who said that he has to start accepting that that's, you know, the type of persona he's giving off now in terms of, like, you know, he's gonna.
Lee Montagna wrote.
Montagna, yeah, okay.
He's got to have to start copping it on the chin if he's going to put out weak shit like that.
Yeah. So what are our thoughts on that, boys?
Well, I reckon Lynch is going to get suspended in the prelim. I reckon he's going to do something and get suspended for a week, but he won't. They'll let him off. So I don't rate it. I think I can admire him playing on the edge, but what I don't get is, like, it's just off the ball dog acts. Like, that's honestly what it is. Like, if it was in the play, like, all right, but it's not in the play and it's dog. Like, you need someone in the head when they're down. You literally hit someone in the head when they're like that was a Brisbane one as well. I can't remember who he hit. I think it was with it or something like that. Harris Andrews, one of those guys, hits him in the back of the head, and like literally got nothing. Yeah, he got nothing. He hit Sam Collins. Like, it's just repeat effort after repeat effort. No one's saying, like, you can't do that in terms of, like, be physical. Of course, be physical. Like, all the best teams are, but it's dog acts. Like, it's just off the ball dog acts. So that's what I was. Yeah, I don't rate it at all.
I think.
But Jess, so do you reckon he should have got suspended for that knee? Or?
No. That's insufficient. Like, that was insufficient. That's not going to get away.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like, he does do some dog things, but, like, as much as, like, I don't like him personally, but the media does overhype it a bit. Like, what he did in that game, like, it wasn't actually that bad what he did this St Kilda game. Like, it was a 50-minute penalty. The umpires paid a 50-minute penalty. Like, you should probably move on from it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, like, yes, he's done some other bad things in the past, which we don't love. Like, obviously, the Bruiser one, he definitely should have got suspended for that, like, 100%. Yeah, I reckon, like, this one here, just a fine, and you sort of just move on from it, I reckon.
No, like, I'm exactly with you, Russ. Like, like, what you're saying is what I'm thinking. Like, I definitely agree with that. It's just, like, the way he plays footy, like, he calls it on the edge, but, yeah, like, he can't be, like, get suspended and all this sort of shit. Like, he can't be doing that. Like, he's got to be, like, there's got to be some sort of change.
Yeah, I'll add something to it. I just think, based on the incident, no, he doesn't get reported. Based on the last 5 incidents, I think gets reported. That's just my thoughts behind it. I think there's only so much you can get away with. Like, and I added this into the chat, and obviously I know it was a little bit more physical, but Ben Long only got a week because of his prior record, because he did something else this year.
Exactly.
So Tom Lynch has done 4 things or 3 things prior to this incident, so why doesn't he get a week? If you think about it, Ben Long hit the guy in the head. There was no McRae was fine, played out the full game normally, and so did what's his name? I always say Dan Houston, but
it's one of the two.
He hit him in the head with his knee. It's intentional, and I think the tribunal need to start looking at. And I know the things can be soft, but I think the tribunal need to start looking at the intention and not the outcome, because the more they look at the outcome, because the more players are just going to get away with it. And one time, it's just frustrating. I think they just need to look at the intention, not the outcome. That's for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Beach. I agree, 100%.
So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you go, Claire.
Oh, good. Yeah, definitely. And I think with, the long one, it was especially frustrating because it was very clearly like, contact that was happening on the ball. It wasn't off. It wasn't like, the one with Lynch where like, all right, the ball's disappeared. Let me just like, dig my knee in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really frustrating because, Lynch, from what I've seen, all his, offenses are quite malicious in the way that he does them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, look at Long's one. It was just like, it was just like tough contact on the ball, going hard at finals, not like, fuck you sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what really grates on my gears. And then, looking a bit deeper too, it's like, the match review panel sort of feeding into the, protected species stuff as well. So like, is it because he's a Richmond player and, they're going to go far? He's like, pretty prolific. So like, let's, keep it hush hush, because when you compare the two situations, I mean, like, what else are people going to think?
It's completely fair to be honest. So I think, like Ross said, media do hype it up, but I think it's a mix of both. I feel like media hype it up, but if he's going to get away with punching Sam Collins in the chest and then kneeing someone in a semi-final, so it's a mix of both. But at the end of the day, it wasn't malicious, but and they had their verdict, but can't do else than that. So well, moving on past that game.
Well, actually, on that beach, like I think we've got to raise another issue as well. Now, I think we've got to honestly talk about the Saints and Brad Hill. Like, I think Brad Hill was one of those guys who, this season pretty much hasn't been.
I just want to add. I want to add on this because me and my dad speak about Brad Hill all the time and how good he was at Hawthorn during the 3 premierships that he had. And he was so vital on the wing to us. But ever since he left, I genuinely don't think he's done anything at all.
No,
I think he when he went to Freo, barely did anything. And that game against Richmond on the weekend, he generally looked scared, like he'd run on the wing. But I don't know if that's the pressure or whatever getting to you. But you've played in 3 flags. You're playing in finals, you got to put up efforts better than that.
I guess I think personally, like, he's already won 3 flags, so maybe he just doesn't care. Like, I mean, I'm guessing he's earning a fair bit of money at the Saints. Like, I mean, he's still pretty young though. He's only like 27 or 28, I think. So he's still got about 4 or 5 years left in him. And he's just playing with no flair, really. I mean, like, when he gets the ball, he's okay, but he's not working hard to get the ball at all. Yeah,
he'd be late 20s because I think it was his first year he won a flag at Hawthorn, and that was 2013. So
that's nuts. That's nuts that he won like first 3 years at Hawthorn wins 3 flags.
Yeah. I think he's a very talented player, that's for sure. But
for sure.
Yeah, there's some efforts in there. Like, for example, like Hanbury went over the Saints and he dominated. He hasn't had a good year, but in finals he's played well for him.
Yeah, so, at least he stepped up in finals.
And a lot of their other picks, Ryder, Zach Jones, Dan Butler, have all stood up, and he's probably been the one that's let him down a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Even Dougal Howard was one of the better ones as well. He's like
solid,
he's like almost their best recruit for me for the Saints this year, I reckon. Like almost over Dan Butler consistency wise.
Yeah, he'd be up there. Like he's like consistency. 100%. He's been really good for.
He's got that key back position now. He's got that pretty much down packed at the Saints now. So he's still pretty young, so he'll own that now for at least the next 7-8 years. So
and with Brad Hill, I don't know, because the games that I've watched this year, he's always gone missing. Like, it's literally at the start of games, like he won't touch the ball for fucking 16 minutes, and then he'll get a touch like at the end of the quarter. So it's like, I don't know. I honestly don't know if they don't use him enough, or it's like he just cannot get in the game and
that's BS. So, like, I know they Saints sort of came out and said that, but that's BS. So like, if you want the ball, work hard and get it. Like, don't be lazy. Like, I understand they want to use you as an outside player, but if you can't get the ball, work hard to get the ball. Go on the inside and get a couple of touches if you're struggling.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's a bit, like, I don't know if it's him. Yeah, I think it's just, we'll see when he gets back in Melbourne. We'll see how he goes. If next year it's the same thing, then we'll start asking questions. But Hannah was like one of their better players, obviously, during the finals.
Yeah,
how it's been. Yeah, and Jack Steele, he didn't have the best game even. Was it Friday? But obviously he's been solid. They've all been fucking. Just
Speaking of Jackie Steele, he won the St Kilda Best of Fairest. So yeah, good
Trevor
on him.
Barker.
Yeah,
Credit to him. Good job.
very well deserved.
Definitely well deserved. Yeah. So you're happy for him. When do we reckon? Who do you reckon is going to be the next captain of St Kilda? Speaking of that, Jared Geary's 32. Is it got to be Jack Steele, or is it got to be someone else?
Oh, gee, that's a big call. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Trying to suss out who they have.
They've got so many young
Yeah.
players. I just don't know who you give it to. Do you give it to
Mhm.
Billings? Do you give it to Zach Jones? Do you give it to Marshall, or do you give it to another defender like Dougal Howard? Could he I don't know.
Yeah, because Geary's probably only got. They were saying Geary might hand over the captaincy for next year. So
I think, yeah.
I don't think he can go past Jack Steele, but as he's been at the club probably longer than most of those players as well. So
Yeah, well, having a quick look at their leadership group this year. So they had, Jaron Geary captain. They had Seb Ross as vice captain, and then Membry, Robertson, and Billings and Hill.
Seb Ross, that's interesting.
I don't see Seb Ross being captain.
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
I don't know.
Definitely not.
Seb Ross is very under the radar. Like, I think Steele would be the obvious choice, but I don't know. I wouldn't.
Steele's the obvious one, but there's always the, and obviously it doesn't happen for all players, but it does happen to a few. But there's a few that get the captaincy role and their footy walks out the door. So you don't want to destroy his confidence and put more pressure on him. But definitely up for it. But you just don't want to. Yeah, it's just interesting because it's obviously what's happened to Cripps a little bit. His year wasn't the greatest, so I don't know. It just depends.
Zach Jones would be a good choice. Like, I'd get behind Zach Jones as a Saints captain. I reckon he's got that quality.
If you want a captain, you need someone that's got a bit of rough and tough with them. Someone that's got a bash pack. Someone that's going to be vocal on the footy field. So, I reckon Dougal Howard. I reckon that would be all right for him.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, what do we reckon of the Saints here in general?
Yeah, I'd give it a B. Sorry.
I'd say B+. I'd say they've had obviously a very good year. They've made finals. Obviously nearly missed late. But with they had such a great off season, picking up 5-gun players, new coach in Rats, and then Roughhead moving across. They've added on a lot of talent everywhere. So
for sure.
I wouldn't give them an A or an A+, but definitely B+ on their season.
I rate a B+. That's actually perfect. I think once King and Membry, once those guys sort of can, King obviously continues to develop, their backline gets settled in, get a couple of those midfielders playing better footy than they were this year. Braden's only going to enhance him as a coach. And if King kicks fucking more than if he just starts plunking them and starts kicking them, I've probably got them for the same position same position next year. I reckon I'll probably finish around the same sort of place. I can't really see them breaking the top 4. But I think Russ might be. What do you reckon, Russ, about it?
I'm actually not as bullish on the Saints as you.
Oh, no. I think the Saints are all right.
Me and Russ made the same face at the same time.
I actually don't think they're. I don't know. I don't think they're that good. I think there's teams that are. You've got GWS, obviously finished outside the 8. You've also got Carlton who finished outside the 8 as well.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think Carlton could overtake Saints next year.
I hope so. But
I also think if GWS can sort of get on a bit of a run again, they could probably overtake the Saints as well. So I don't know.
That's interesting. GWS, you reckon? Yeah. You reckon they'll?
You really don't know with GWS. Who knows? It's hard to say. But with the talent they have, you'd like to think that that GWS will bounce back. So, it's hard. It's obviously hard to say. I can't see the Saints jumping into a top 4 position.
No. I'm not saying Saints top 4. No, they're not going to get anywhere near that. But I reckon they can at least get a home final next. Well, they already did, but in terms of Melbourne. But I reckon they get another home final. But I still think they need to build their list. I still think they need to. I'm not really sure how much money they have, but they still need to improve their list. I think they don't have their midfield's not really. I don't believe their midfield's good enough to challenge it, and their backline's still a bit scratchy as well. I think forward line is pretty good, but they got to really work on their mid and backline still. I reckon. Yeah, cool. Beige, what do you reckon about it? And then Clove, any opinions?
Yeah, same as Russ. I feel like they can finish anywhere probably between 5th and 12th.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
that's the same for a lot of teams, but you've got to remember, like Jade Gresham didn't play the whole final series, and he's a very, very key player for them.
Yeah, he's a gun. Yeah, he's good.
Dylan Roberton, I know he's had his issues, but I feel like when he's playing, he's a very good talent for them as well. So
Yeah, hopefully he can come back.
yeah, they were missing a few, but I think just anywhere between 5th and 12th, like I said. But they've got the talent to make the 8. But like we were saying a few weeks ago, like they nearly missed the 8, nearly missed it. So
yeah, they had a really good first half of the year, and I think like they got a bit lucky a couple of times when they played the top sides. Like they kicked like 1 behind or 2 behinds against the Power.
Yeah.
And when they bet the Tigers when they had a lot of players out. So yeah, like good on them for making the 8. Happy for them to make the 8. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll improve next year. If anything, I think they'll go down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit between everyone, honestly. Like, I definitely don't see them making the top half of the top 8. I think, if anything, they'll be pushing for like a 7th or 8th position next year. And it's only because, I think like Russ was pretty much bang on, like, their forward line's pretty good, but their mid and backs need a bit of effort. And even in their forward line, they're still not consistent enough. Like, they've got, some great young talent, like, King and even, like Membry stepping through and whatnot. But like I think their set shots is obviously the biggest thing that needs to improve. And I think just their confidence in building up their team as like a proper like cohesive unit and making sure that they're getting the ball moving back nicely from moving forward from the back line quite nicely. Like I feel like they don't have that flow happening yet. So like look, I think they'll definitely be competitive next year. I think they're kind of going to be, like another Brisbane side in terms of like, they're probably a couple of years off being like really good and scaring a few teams. But no, I think they'll be interesting. Like they've definitely got some good players there. I think, like you guys have said, like, new coach and whatnot, they just need that bit of time to develop and get their like, proper game plan going and executing it on the field efficiently.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, good point. As we said as well, they've had 5 recruits this year and they've barely been able to trade as a group, so it's a bit hard to be cohesive. So
yeah, exactly.
Be able to improve that sort of flow from the back to forward next year. So they might improve. I don't know. Who knows? They're a hard team to read, to be honest.
Yeah.
Are we good to move on, Jez?
Real good. Had to get that Bradley Hill reference in. Just had to I want to know your thoughts, Beach.
No, that's okay. All good. Well, moving on to quite a boring game, Geelong Collingwood.
Oh my God.
Going into it.
USA got come to town in that one.
He was not born in the USA.
I don't know what else to. I'll kick us off, but considering the effort they put up against West Coast in Perth and half their staff were in Caribbeans, I was expecting a lot better effort against Geelong. But to Geelong's credit, it's generally like they played out of their skin. Like they could not put a foot wrong. Dangerfield was marking everything. He was kicking goals from the pocket. I generally think that was probably Geelong's best game for the whole year. They didn't put a foot wrong anywhere. Clearances galore. We're on top of Collingwood's midfield the whole game. So, but yeah, Collingwood's issue is their forward line. We love Big Meso, but their forward line is an issue. DeGoey again didn't turn up. Mason Cox didn't turn up.
Stevenson didn't turn up.
So I don't know what you do there. Obviously, we are away from Melbourne, but you'd expect a lot better in a semi-final.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Like they were just cooked. Like honestly, they were completely cooked from the week before. Like seriously, like they just had no energy. Like I'm sure they were. Mark Robertson was saying, "Oh, Collingwood didn't even try." Like he said that in his likes and dislikes. Like I think that's a bit of a harsh thing to say. Like I'm sure they were trying. Like they just didn't play well. Like it happens sometimes. Like especially if you're that little bit off. Like as I was saying to Dad as well. Like Collingwood had 2 more days. Like they played on the Saturday, Geelong played on the Thursday. So Geelong had 2 extra days to recover.
Yeah. And
they also had to fly from Perth to Queensland. It's like it's no excuse for that first half. But like I can understand why they were completely cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Danger played his best game for the year, and like he just took the piss. Like literally, he's snapping the goals from the pocket. Like their team, Duncan and all those guys are fucking just killing the midfield. The Pies are cooked, and I still like. We'll talk about this more, but I think that obviously a year and stuff. But yeah, it was just I think people saying it was a shit season, I think probably need to get checked. Like, I don't think it was a shit season. Like, I think they did the best that they could by their conditions. Like, they fucking had a lot of people out. They had to travel a lot as well, which I guess you could say about interstate clubs coming to Victoria. But, and just Geelong just killed them. Like, Geelong just fired. Like, their backline killed it. Danger playing forward that game is hopefully what he can do in a couple of years. Like, that's what they want him to do. Like, just be able to kick 3 or 4 like that.
Exactly right.
He's not doing that against fucking Brisbane. I can't see him going up and kicking 5 against Brisbane. So he's not going to do that. So
I just want to add something on quickly before we give to Chloe. There was a few coaching decisions, and we gave a bit of lip to Chris Scott about the middle errors and things like that. But when you're not starting Grundy and Pendlebury in the middle, I don't know what's going on. Like, there was times that Pendlebury sitting on the bench for 5-6 minute periods. I don't know if he's carrying anything. But I think they started the second half and Darcy Cameron was in the middle and Pendlebury and Grundy were on the bench. I just don't understand that. So it might come down to fitness. I'm not too sure. But, there was some issues there. I don't know why, though.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know what's up with Grundy. I think Grundy's just cooked this year. He hasn't really he hasn't had a shit year, but by his standards, he just hasn't been that good. He's just looked slow. He's looked a bit tired. Yeah. Like, maybe just the hub life just really wasn't for him. He could have had a little niggly injury. We don't know. Like, he starts his 7-year deal from next year, so he'd really want to kick into gear. So yeah, hopefully, I think he'll come back and he'll be really good next year. Like, it was smart they played Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron had no effect on the game on Saturday night, yes, but anyway, I think, I don't think Darcy Cameron will play next year. Like, Grundy will be back to that full-time ruck position role. He'll be back to his best, hopefully. I really like him as a player.
Yeah. Chloe?
Yeah. Look, not too much to add to what you boys have said already. Just that, I think we were all pretty disappointed in how the game unfolded, honestly. Like we've said, Collingwood just weren't there for basically 3/4 of the game, honestly. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't even that they weren't trying. They were just getting pummeled left, right, and centre by Geelong. They just had no answers to anything they were doing. And I think like Beach touched on, we gave quite a lot of smack to Chris Scott last week about how he can't coach finals.
Yeah, he showed us.
He showed us. It was like, fuck you.
Don't worry, Chloe. They'll lose next week anyway. So
God willing, because we want Beach's bet to,
Oh man, that bet's still going. Is that bet still going? Hey, we've I think with Chris Scott, I think we were warranted in that. Like, I don't think everything we said was right. I don't think we said anything wrong. And he probably would check. I reckon it's the type of bloke to check talking footy and just see what us 4 guys are saying about him, and he'll probably bring it up in the media or something like that because he loves a little bit of me time, old Chris Scotty. But
he does.
Yeah, I think. And just on that, they all go, oh yeah, he has a good semi-final record. All right, well, he can fucking win games after he loses them. All right, but we'll see how he goes. If he can get into the grand final, who knows? He's done it.
Yeah.
He's done his job. They're not beating Brisbane, but we'll say that out right here. But
no, I know what you're saying, Jez, and I completely agree. We didn't say anything unfair or untoward about him last week. But you've got to give credit to him and the whole team. They just shat all over Collingwood. They made it look like trading cones. Honestly, at the end of the day, they just had answers for everything. Anytime Collingwood tried to change their structure or do something different, they just got shut down everywhere. And it was. I think, like Ross said, it was probably the best game they've played all season. They just didn't have an off switch. They were just on the entire night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that third quarter was pretty funny. Geelong just kicked it around for 20 minutes and Collingwood just couldn't get the ball.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I thought it was boring, but it was funny at the same time because Collingwood could just not get the ball. It was like, Jesus.
I checked out. I just mentally checked out that quarter. I could see people playing, but
I fell asleep at halftime. That's why I wasn't vocal in the chat. I actually fell asleep. So,
mate, there was not much to stay up for.
More than
so.
fine.
No.
Bit of a
there was a few things I looked at for Collingwood was that None of their players went over 20 disposals, where you got Trelaw that's been averaging 25 nearly the whole year. None of them went above 75 Supercoach points.
Is it really?
Yeah, none of them.
Bad.
So
Jesus.
they got whacked, and obviously Geelong had 25 scoring shots to 7. 7. So
As you do.
Jesus.
and they kicked 4 goals in the last quarter. Collingwood, they only kicked 1 goal up until 3/4 time. So
Yep.
yeah,
A goal and a point for 3/4 of footy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Matty Rolls was not happy. Friend of the show, Matty Rolls. He was not happy at all. He was
folks, just a
rifled.
quick note,
People
Matty Ross said
fuming.
his apologies for not being on tonight. He was doing stuff. So he said he's not a pussy for not being on this show. He just couldn't make it.
Yeah, no, to quote, he ate his words. Direct quote.
Oh, I didn't think he was that. He wasn't that vocal, but yeah, I know what he's saying.
He genuinely said that in the chat today, Jez.
Literally
No, but
direct
he
quoting.
No, but I know, but he wasn't talking a copious amount of shit. Like he was like pretty sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what he's saying.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Right,
So
where to for the Pies from here? Like, what do we think? Is there any worrying signs? What do we think?
Their forward line's a worry. Their forward line's a worry. I
that's-
know
yeah.
they've got guns in their forward line, but this whole year they've been so up and down. And
Yeah.
their back line as well. Darcy Moore and Jordan Rufford, is that going to cut it for you? Probably not. So Jordan
They need
Rufford
more
was
than 2 players in the back
Jordan
line.
Rufford was the Bulldogs ruckman in the 2016 grand final. He was playing full back. He's quite a good player, but you're not going to cut it with those two. And obviously, they lost Howe early in the year, and he was in 100% All Australian form. He was probably one of the best players in the comp at that point in time.
Absolutely.
But they've got holes in their forward line, holes in their back line, and now you've got the whole issue of, is Jordan De GONE staying or leaving? Is Myercheck going to fit into their salary cap? Is Darcy Moore going to fit into their salary cap? So it's a bit up in the air. So
speaking about that, I think Darcy Moore will sign on. I think I can't see Darcy Moore leaving. I think he'll sign. They have enough money to sign him. The Go is the interesting one for me. Like, I was reading something to say, which was a very good point as well, because the Go is obviously got to command. He's going to command about 700,000-800,000, obviously. So it could almost be potentially like a blessing in disguise if Collingwood let him go, because they could let him go. Say, for example, they obviously got to get a first round pick if they let him go. Like, a team's got to give a first round pick away. They have to. And that could almost open the door for them to go for someone like a Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah.
So then they could almost get, say, like a Jeremy Cameron and a first round pick for the Goey. Because obviously Cameron's a free agent. Is that right? Is Cameron a free agent? Yeah, so he's a free agent, so they get him for nothing. So that could almost work for them if he wanted to go to the Pies. What are our thoughts on just something sort of like that type scenario?
Yeah, very, very similar. I think Geelong really want Jeremy Cameron, and I feel like he won't say no to the Cats after the season that they've had. So I reckon they might pick up someone like Ben Brown. I feel like he's a perfect fit for Collingwood.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence. I don't think they need Ben Brown. I think they need more of an athletic. I think they need an athletic key forward. Ben Brown's a bit too slow. Because they're still gonna I don't know. They've got big Mason Cox on their list. They're probably got to. I feel like they're still gonna want to play Mason Cox. I don't know why, but I just have that feeling they're gonna want to play.
Yeah, I do understand you want an athletic one, but I feel like he was at North Melbourne and he was getting shit delivery for 3 years and still kicked 180 goals across 3 years. So if you change that and you got Pendlebury kicking to him, Taylor Adams, Trelaw kicking to him, huge difference. And I feel like he goes on to side bottom. You've got
call.
elite kickers coming out of the midfield, hitting him on the tit. I feel like makes a huge difference regardless you're slow or not.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think with Ben Brown as well, he likes a very open forward line as well.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to sort of be in a team where he can command that forward role. He might be able to do that at the Pies.
Yeah.
But I think he sort of needs to be the focal point, which is what made him a really good player at North. But he was sort of that focal point. They opened up the forward line for him. Yeah. And that's when I sort of found that he was in form and played really well.
Yeah.
See, I don't know where Ben Brown's going to go. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. What about you,
dogs will take him.
Oh. Yes.
It would be all right down there.
Yes.
I'd rate that, yeah.
Melbourne
I
as
wouldn't
well.
complain. Wouldn't complain.
Yeah, I reckon he goes to Melbourne. I don't think he'd be a very, very good
Probably.
fit for Melbourne. I think he should go there.
Mm.
I think if Melbourne can pick him up, that pushes him back into the 8, or definitely gives him more of a chance.
Yeah, and we look at the Pies in terms of their back line. They've got a very solid back line. They're not great, but they're solid. Look at their midfield, obviously. The
Jez, you've cut out again.
fine.
Mate.
So hypothetically, if we're going to put Ben Brown, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
If you're going to put Ben Brown in Collingwood's forward line and DeGoey stays, I don't like. It's not going to work. So either if they're going to get Brown, then DeGoey goes. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Sorry. Yep.
Anyways, that's just what I was thinking.
Chloe, Chloe, what are your thoughts on Collingwood season?
Look, like I think it was pretty frustrating for the most part, like because yes, they've got a few gaps, but generally speaking, their list is quite solid. Like they've got some like gun players across the field, and it was basically just see whenever a lot of their key players would have quiet days, like whether it was Adams or Treloar or even when Pendles had their quiet days, losing side bottom didn't help them. Like they definitely they're very easily a top 8 side. They kind of just snuck in this year. They're a bit of a funny one, honestly, because like I said, great list, but just pretty inconsistent, honestly. So I think they've got a couple of areas to work on to
You're killing
my 5-year-old, I swear. Okay. Words, Chloe, words. Collingwood. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Collingwood top 8.
Not too bad overall, this year. But no huge issues. Yeah, just consistency, really. I think that's their biggest thing.
Yeah, they're still top 8, and I think like all these guys like Stevenson and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of shit directed towards Stevenson, so I think, and unfairly as well. I think also looking back, I think even last week I was sort of a bit harsh on him as well. I think when he gets back to Melbourne, he gets back to similar sort of surroundings, and he actually starts to build upon his 2018 form. I reckon he can be a really solid player for them. And I think it's just, the switching environment. He's 21 years old, still young. I reckon if he has a good off-season, then, he can fucking dominate from there. But I've still got the Pies top 8. I'd even have them pushing for a top 4 spot in terms of, close to a top 4 spot. It's going to be hard, obviously. We'll see if Port drop off. But, I've still, they get a couple of good players back and they'll fucking go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Jerry, talk to us about the GF performers.
So I'm going to have to search it up. I believe I had it. I'll go off the top of my head. So they've got a couple of bands. So it's a real sort of Triple J sort of setup, like a real sort of indie music going on. So the ones that I saw was DMAs, which is some listeners of the vidcast might know who that is, more rocky, indie rock, not really pop, but that sort of genre. Cub Sport, which they're really big on Triple J as well, more obviously Queensland based. I think the vocalist for Wolf Mother, Andrew Stockdale, so more rock. I'll just search it. I'll try and look for it, but I'm going to have to go in the chat. And then a couple of other, it's more, I think more indie sort of stuff. So it's not necessarily mainstream. And I'm going to have to search this article because it's take forever to load. But what do you reckon? What do you guys class as getting good music in? Who would you guys like to see play on grand final day? I'd see Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Bring you back.
I think Akadaka would have been a good one if they all lived in Australia. I reckon that would have been a good one. They've got so many bands that aren't necessarily mainstream, but people actually like. But they're gonna go to the footy, and there's gonna be all these people who aren't gonna know what the fuck's going on. They're gonna see some of these bands coming. Okay, they're gonna see some of these bands coming through and stuff, and not gonna be really great. So I don't know in regards to that. I'm not. Yeah, it's sorry. This article's taking forever to load, but
no, it's all good.
I don't know. Just
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we'll just
Yeah, Beach. You go for you go Beach, and then we'll go. Then I'll get back up.
Oh,
okay.
That's right, mate. We'll move on from that, mate. We've
We'll
pretty
move
much
on.
discussed.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
No stress. So moving on quickly. We've got the it sort of hasn't been spoken about much even in the media. We've got the Brownlow coming up quite soon, which has sort of been a bit swept under the carpet. Like I haven't really seen it in the media. Like just no one's really talking about it. It's on this Sunday. So
Sunday.
Yeah, what are we? Yeah, it's this Sunday, Jess, mate.
Sunday is it? Oh boy.
Firstly, what are our thoughts of it being on Sunday instead of Monday? And what do we think the Brownlows going to look like this year? Is it still going to be entertaining? Is it not?
Be shitty.
Yeah, look, like my initial reaction, so look, which I never really care about anyway, but obviously they're not going to have, all the partners and whatever, like dressing up. So like, they're not going to have the red carpet thing, which like I said, I literally couldn't give two shits about on a good day anyway. But, but I'm sure that'll detract a lot of like, people who don't necessarily watch footy from at least watching the preview. And then I think the actual Brownlow itself, like, it's just going to be so weird. Like, what are they going to do? Just chuck like players on like different screens on like a big Zoom call? Like, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really weird. I dare say they're probably going to do something similar to what like the Dogs did for the Charles Sutton medal, so their best and fairest, which was basically just like, just jump on basically like a Zoom session, just bang it out, honestly, like, one thing after another, because you just can't have that sort of entertainment vibe, like, reflective year thing going on when you don't have anyone to talk to about it, basically, unless they're like, it just makes it hard. And I think if they try and keep as close to it as normal, it's just going to be even worse.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite. I can't see it being entertaining. Like, I literally do not know how it's going to be entertaining. Like, I'm obviously going to watch it. Like, but I think it's going to be pretty boring. Hopefully they just get it over and done with really quickly. Like, smash it out in a couple of hours. There's no point dragging it on like they normally do for 3.5 hours. And it's really boring. Like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll preview the proper Brownlow on Thursday, but for now we've got to get into market goal of the year. I think Ben's got the videos to show us the market goal of the year, and then we'll discuss who we think is going to win it and why.
Do you want to just do goal of the year first and do that, or
sweet.
and then market of the year and do that?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, we'll go goal of the year first then.
Let's press this.
Dacos keeps it in like his old man. Dacos! Peter be proud, but he's his own man now, Josh. Dacosian. The new Macedonian marvel. How good was that? Just the way that he was able to kick the ball in, let alone the exquisite finish. Come on. There. Nice hit.
The Cards.
Nunes. I'm in the end zone.
Nunes!
Every schoolboy's dream. Kick after the siren to win the game for your club. Wasting no time, Jack Nunes. Set shot.
Oh, this is still good.
Strikes it beautifully. He's got it.
We were out this game. We were absolutely done. We were cooked this game. We somehow won. We lost against No, we lost against fucking Adelaide, sorry. This
I
game.
don't like this goal because we're getting smashed.
Oh, no.
I didn't even see it because I turned off the game because I was too pissed.
Yeah, I didn't watch this. Watch it
Spins
after.
out of traffic, through one, past another, shows his class, gets it back from Betts.
How far, umpire? How far?
He mesmerised them, goes toward goal.
He loves to run.
What a piece of play that was. These
Sullivan
are
out
the
to the
draws
crowd.
you're looking
Owen
for.
Patrick
He
Cripps.
mesmerised them all. Watch this around the back as he runs through the post, runs through the contest, spins out, gets the handball back from Eddie, and then here it is. Great call, Dwayno.
All right, what do we reckon?
All right. Since two of you are pretty biased, considering that two of the three nominations are from the Blues, I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Look,
Great call.
honestly, as like, third party person, I think you just cannot for the life of you go past Jack Nunes' goal. Seriously. Like, how much more do you want? It was like such a ridiculous angle. It was to win the game. I mean, like, what more do you want from a goal of the year? Seriously. And like, yes, like, so when that happened, the live coverage was happening in the Talkin' Footy group chat, and just the absolute scenes after that was incredible.
Yeah.
One of our favorite Facebook pages, Everything is Better with Titanic. As soon as they put, the My Heart Will Go On music with it, just instant classic. Absolutely rate it.
I'll butt in before the Carlton boys because we know where they're going. Okay. I love Nudes' goal, but it's a set shot. It's a set shot.
Oh no, he's gone against.
It's a set shot. I know it's to win the game, but it's a set shot. Cripper's goal was amazing, but that Dacos goal, I think it was, I don't know, when Eddie was playing for Adelaide, he did quite a similar thing. He kept it in bounds, went around a player.
Yeah, GWS.
That snap. And that snap was also to win the game, to be fair. So that was the last goal kick before Collingwood won that game, and they were coming from behind as well. So for me, it's Joshy Dacos. I love Nunes. He's a goat, but
it's like Josh Dacos' goal is amazing. Like even with the commentary, is really good as well. I actually really rate it. Like, I obviously, because I'm a Carlton supporter, I have to say Nunes' goal as well.
Yeah, we were very biased, but that Dacos goal, like, spoken to Josh a couple of times as well. We'll get that in there as well. But Josh's goal was very good, and that was also to win the game. But I reckon they might give it to Cripps. Like, Nunes should win goal of the year, but they're going to give it to Cripps. No, because what Beach said, it's a set shot. That's where they're going to sort of fuck it around. So Nunesy gets goal of the year for me.
Also, just a heads up, mate. It's the people vote for it this year, so it's not.
Oh, is it actually? Oh, well, then.
Based on the people vote, Jack Nunes will win it.
Yeah, he'll win it then. If it's on the people. If it's on the people.
Jack Nunes will win it.
If it was on it was on AFL, people like Warren Treadway and all these guys would have been
yeah. Alrighty, we'll move on to goal of the year.
Mark of the year.
Here we go. Share screen.
The Blue Boys might actually win something this year.
Turns inside. Charlie. Huge leap. Mark of the year contender. 1, 2, 3. That's a big leap off 3 paces. Fantastic.
Sends Boak on his way towards full forward. Powell-Pepper had to turn around. Fantastic bit of courage.
Wow.
Sam Walsh.
This is unbelievable, Hutto. 30 metres he goes back. Yeah. His eyes don't deviate from the football. He knows what's coming, and he still goes. Fantastic courage.
It was a 2-on-3, still outnumbered down the line.
So Haynes gives it some elevation. Oh, Bobby Hill with the mark of the Knights in the jersey that he designed for Indigenous round, and he's playing inspired footy. Bobby Hill, what a mark!
Jerry, what are your thoughts, considering I saw your curtains for the whole thing?
Yeah, sorry, I just had to head off quickly. Who were the other 2 marks?
Sam Walsh going back with the fly, and Charlie Cameron took a hang.
I'd say probably Bobby Hill's one was pretty good. Like, I was surprised even Ben Long's one wasn't up there as well. Ben Long took a really good mark as well.
Are you right? Like, are you okay?
Yeah, Ben Long took a good mark as well.
Russ is about to abuse you. I think Sam Walsh easily by my way.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't want to sound biased, but that is one of the most courageous marks from a 19-year-old.
That's why I said I didn't want to sound biased. I didn't want to sound biased. That's why I didn't want to say it.
Even if I wasn't a colours supporter, I'd be thinking Sam Walsh's mark. Like, he's gone back with the flight. A lot of players like get knocked out doing that a lot of the time, and he's managed to somehow get in front and mark the ball. Like, even just to hold onto the ball, bring the ball to ground, for me was an amazing effort. Like, just the courage itself wins mark of the year, I think.
Close.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I just didn't want to sound biased. But yeah, I definitely agree.
Hey, the Blue Boys, we might be winning 2 awards, mate. After the year. Yeah. First time we might win something in how many years?
I didn't want to get too ahead of myself. But yeah, and with that as well, like, it was at a pivotal stage of the game as well. Like, the fact,
it was, yeah,
and like he literally, like, we were getting under siege in terms of that mark.
Who won that game?
Well, we don't want to say who won that game, but yeah, it was
I'm surprised that didn't make it into the goal of the year.
yeah, what was that the goal of the year?
Yeah, no offense to Hill and Cameron, but those marks happen like every year. So Sam Walsh's one's a rare one.
Well,
so.
Cameron takes them all the time anyway.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Bobby Hill, he's taken a couple of them even this season as well.
Chloe, thoughts?
Yeah, Sam Walsh.
Shut up, Jez. Chloe.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. Yeah, look, like, yeah, I can't go past, as much as I may want to just on principle, I can't go past Walsh's mark. Like, like, he's not the biggest body, and watching him go against, like, all these big Port Adelaide bodies, it's just like, whoa, crap. Especially because he's so young too. Like, yeah, nothing but guts there. So, yeah, and he just took it so strongly too. It was incredible to watch. And yeah, if not Walshy, then probably Charlie Cameron. But yeah, like you said, Russ, he takes them pretty commonly, which, like, is never a bad thing, but it's just not something that would stick out for me and be like, oh yeah, that's mark of the year. I mean, like, you see a player do that every other day. So,
yeah, exactly right. Also, guys, it's just come across my desk. Braden Bruce is moving to the GWS Giants.
He is.
Yeah, it's just come across my desk now. So, yeah, what are our thoughts on that? We sort of predicted it in the Talking Footy chat, I guess. So
yeah, we did.
What do we reckon?
Sad
for GWS? Or?
Yeah, very good for GWS. I think especially because of Mumford's starting to get a bit old and a bit slow.
Yep.
So I think that's probably a very good move for them. Obviously, very sad for the Dogs because I know we were talking about how he would have been a good fit for us to help out English. But yeah, no, good on him. Smart move, I think, for both sides.
I think it's a very smart move. I mean, that's going to actually help them a little bit more and just help him as well. I think he can go into a very reliable player next season. So, look, it was either Dogs or GWS. Like, he could have gone to even, it would have been fine. So, yeah, definitely right. Definitely. I don't know. Like, I think, GWS might have a good chance next season to bounce back, and they could, need to build up.
Yeah, so what do we reckon? So Mumford, it looks like Mumford, he's got to sign on as well, I read as well, for one more year, just as that backup.
Just for a year, yeah.
Like, he's not going to play reserves or anything like that. He'll just train, and then if Bruce is injured, he'll play. But I don't know, like, he's so old, he's so slow, he can't even move. Like, seriously, he literally cannot move. But yeah, GWS they don't have any other choice other than, like, they have to keep him on. Because if Bruce got injured, they actually have no one else that they could bring in. So
yeah, like their backup ruckman's like Mason or something like that. They've got to play Himmelberg out of the ruck. Like, they literally have no one. They don't have a recognised ruckman. So
obviously you can't have those guys rucking all day. So
yeah.
And and also, well, who do the Dogs get then? If we're going to talk about.
Yeah, true.
Well,
I don't know, maybe I can't really think of. They could. Actually, no. That's probably. I was going to say Peter Wright, but that's a bit of a stupid option, probably.
He's okay.
I don't know.
He's okay, Peter Wright.
Like,
not as a ruckman. Peter Wright's okay, not as a ruckman though.
Yeah, I'd play him as a forward. I wouldn't play him as a ruckman, but that's not bad. Outside the box.
A bit outside.
Orazio Fantasia also nominated Adelaide.
Yes.
So
the Essendon saga gets worse.
They're all jumping off. It's a Titanic, and they're all jumping off. By God.
The only positive is Andrew McGrath signed on for 2 years, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Well, he's their next captain. He's
exactly.
Next captain.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the only other positive for Essendon as well is they could end up with picks 6, 7, and 8 in the draft. So that could be good for them as well. That could help them really kick their rebuild. Like, I reckon Colts is going to give pick 7, so and they'll get the combo pick 8 for Danaher, hopefully. So at least that'll help kickstart something. They've got to start a full rebuild of it. Or not a full rebuild, but they've at least got to do sort of like a half rebuild.
Something like that. Yeah.
They've got to find a way to get some superstars in their team, so to complement those.
There was word on the town that DeGoey was either going to Carlton, and then they said maybe not, and then Essendon have kind of chimed in. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Who knows?
Essendon's got to pick up no one this trade period. No one. Why would you want to go to Essendon anyway after everything that's been going on? Like, you wouldn't want to go. So
yeah, that's right.
Don't know.
Also had James Frawley and Travis Varco retired during the week, which I'm absolutely rapt about. Don't have to deal with him anymore. He was a very good servant in that 2015 grand final where he kept Coleman medalist Josh Kennedy goalless. So he played his role. but yeah, just too old. And Varco retiring, he's had a very, very good career as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, Varco's had a very. I thought he retired. Honestly, I thought he retired a couple of weeks ago. Like, is that just me? Like,
yeah, it's just you, mate.
Was it? I honestly thought like he retired a couple of weeks ago, so I was like, "What the fuck?" But
yeah,
I think it was just me.
Yeah, and we'll finish up on the incident that happened. It came out during the week that Stengel and Crouch got their fines, and I think it was Crouch
so
got
Stengel
2 weeks,
4 weeks,
Stengel
Crouch 2 weeks. Also, it was an AFL imposed ban, not an Adelaide imposed ban. So that means if Crouch goes to another club, he still has to serve the 2 weeks as well. So not sure if that'll be a factor, but yeah, Crouch will find a home somewhere, just on less money.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
I'm about to sneeze. Yeah, I think is that it? Is that all?
I think
I
think so.
Obviously, we'll cover match previews and Brownlow tips on Thursday.
And then on music again, Shepherd. They're also playing. You know Shepherd, Geronimo, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Electric Fields.
As long as the bloke that plays up there, Kazali's back, that's okay.
Yeah, he's back. Okay, so he's playing in Melbourne. So why can't they
he's playing at the MCG?
So why can't they get bands? Oh, it's gonna fucking do my head. Why can't they get bands go to the MCG and play music there, and then you can? Oh, it's too much work.
So would you rather them all play at the GJs?
No, but you have like maybe 1 or 2 bands play at the G, and then you have a couple of others play. Like I don't know, you just do something different. Like, but it's
I don't know if I rate it, but at the G, it's just I don't know. It's just a bit awkward. He's got to be playing there by himself.
Last year they played like Tones and I, and had who else was there? They had Tones and I and Dean Lewis, and they're not grand final music. Like I think I think a grand final. I'm not thinking of like.
Did not rate Tones and I on grand final. That was there, mate. No good.
I do not rate Tones and I full stop, but Dean Lewis I actually do rate, and I think he's in terms of a grand final act. I don't think he's it. But then again, like. Yeah, I'm just going to throw shit at the wall, I guess, this year, and we'll see what works. Actual good bands that I rate, but my taste is different to a couple of people, but yeah. Anyway.
All right, Jerry, close us off, mate.
Yeah, so I've got nothing prepared. So I want to just, first of all, from the bottom of my heart, just want to thank everyone who actually is watching this Talking Footy show, and a lot of it has to go to Ben as well. Like, he probably won't admit it, but he's been awesome in terms of setting up everything for us and just like getting around us and sending out the actual like show to viewers. So I appreciate that, man, honestly. And yeah, if you do like us, let us know. Give us some words of encouragement, and hopefully, if you I'm doing a shit job most of the time, so you can lay into me as well. But yeah, thank you everyone, and yeah, we'll see you Thursday. We've got a special guest coming on, so it's gonna be very, very fucking good. And enjoy.